This meeting will now come to order. Open Public Meetings Act statement. Would you please read that, Marie?
Yes, Chair. The notice requirements of the Open Public Meetings Act of the State of New Jersey have been satisfied by an annual notice, including the date, time, and place of this meeting, posted in the first floor main lobby of the Pitkin Education Center of Bergen Community College, was mailed to the Record and the Herald News, and filed with the Clerk of the County of Bergen, November 26, 2018.
Please take roll call.
Yes. Joseph A. Barretto. Here. Dorothy Blakesley. Here. Gerard Carroll. Here. Patrick Fletcher. Here. Mark Longo. Here. Carol Otis.
Here.
Irene Ujo. Here. Shatal Ranjan. Here. Joseph Zara is absent tonight. Sabora Pekka.
Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, reports. Let's see. Does the Vice Chairman have a report?
Yes.
You used to be over there.
Okay. On March 6th and the 9th, I attended the 13th Annual Black-Brown College-Bound Summit in Tampa, Florida, along with Mr. McKnight and Dr. Davis and approximately 8 students from the college. The summit is designed to address the national problem of the lack of student success in the areas of persistence, retention, and graduation for all students, but in particular African American and Latino males. Our Bergen students were able to network with professionals and students alike. One of our students came away from the conference with 2 internship opportunities from 2 different major companies. On March 18th, I attended the New Jersey Council of County Colleges at Middlesex County College with Chairperson Carol Otis. The major part of that meeting was focused on explaining the 5 new committees that have been formed. On March 22nd, I attended the 2nd Annual Junior Chef Competition, hosted by our Hospitality and Restaurant Management Program. This competition showcased the culinary arts skills of approximately 7 local high schools. On March 27th, I attended the Women's History Month luncheon with other board members. The luncheon was very enjoyable and entertaining, especially with our president going battle with another group of females there. It was pretty good. It was good. Which the guys won, by the way.
They did.
The honorary guest was our chairperson, Carol Otis. Madam Chair, that concludes my report.
That competition is not rigged.
No, it was good.
It was Alan Kaufman and
Oh, that's right.
We probably had an edge because we had a little bit more history on that.
Yeah,
It was a good one, though. It was
It was
entertaining.
fun to do.
Okay. Joe Beretta, Secretary. No report. Treasurer.
Audit and Finance Committee did meet last month. We discussed a wide range of issues and will be recommending that the board approve AF1 through AF11 along with I2 and I3.
Thank you. I guess that's the president.
Already? Yes. So the Black-Brown Conference.
Yes.
I know one of the students at least will be coming to the board meeting in May and will be sharing some of his comments as well. We have that planned for next month. At last meeting, I mentioned to you that I attended along with 3 of our trustees, Shatal Ranjan, Carol Otis, and Gerard Carroll, the National Legislative Summit in Washington, D.C. That's sponsored by the Association of Community College Trustees, and we go to Capitol Hill to advocate for higher ed. Last month, because of the agenda, I said that I was going to postpone any discussion of it to this month, but I have maybe just a few comments, but I wanted to give a chance to any of our trustees who went, who might want to share their impressions from that 3 or 4 day trip to Washington, D.C.?
Yes, Dr. Redden, I'd like to add that during that trip, I attended the Governance and Bylaws Committee meeting. The major discussion at that meeting was to support the 4-year degrees that we feel is needed for community colleges. And I also attended the session of improving access and success for males at urban and rural college community colleges. And also I attended and joined the African American Trustee Caucus.
Anyone else that might want to comment?
Chantal?
I've had so many events happen after that my memory is kind of fading. Especially an extra long 2 weeks at the Commission on Status of Women, New York. But so I'm trying to go back in time. But I serve on the Diversity and Inclusion Committee of the American Community College Trustees. We are doing some, I've been serving on it it's my 2nd year. In the first year, we developed a report and an action agenda, which I have forwarded to, our college, and we hope that at this retreat, we will be able to visit it in more detail and depth and see how we align our vision with the action agenda, which is set forth nationally. So the discussion in the Diversity and Inclusion, they call it Diversity, Equity and Inclusion Committee, is about, how have colleges taken the agenda which was created nationally and implemented it across their individual colleges across states. So I requested it to be, last year during the retreat, it was more of a draft version. So this year it's a final version, and I'm kind of pushing for it to be high on the retreat agenda. And to be on the agenda, we have the most diverse board of any board around the country. When we go to these conferences and we sit around the table and we ask them what their board looks like, it's very, very, very different. They talk about how difficult it is to recruit, retain, or even have participation from other races. So from that point of view, I'm very happy with our board, but that means that we should be the leaders in implementing those changes across our college to begin with. Whatever we bring on the board should be through and through, through every practice that we have. Besides that, the other thing which the board is pushing very hard is a repeal of ban on the second chance Pell. I don't know if you know, but second chance Pell used to be offered for incarcerated individuals to be able to return to college to seek an education, and that money could be used for that. It was banned, and then for the last few years there have been some experimental sites which have implemented the second chance, as an experimental project. Every study points to its astounding success. So, we could see more students returning, which is, of course, the healthier approach to criminal justice issues rather than incarceration. So we will be able, and we'll see increase in numbers, and not just numbers, that's a financial aspect, but changing of real lives when and if that happens. So we are working very hard nationally for that. Those are the two main agenda items. I can go on forever, but I'll leave it to moving the agenda forward. Thank you.
Thank you, Chantal. Well, I agree with the second chance thing. I don't know if anyone saw 60 Minutes on Sunday, but they had a program on the second chance in Connecticut, how it started up there, and it was amazing. It was great. Everybody got together, and it was wonderful. So that's what we're looking for, and I hope people can help support it. I'm on the Audit and Finance Committee, my unfavorite committee. But I am chair of the membership committee for that to decide whether we're going to raise membership for the organization or not, and I am steadfast holding on to no raise. I attended many of the meetings. We just going on and on and on, and much of it was told already. And I really enjoyed going up to the hill in the pouring rain. We had a great time in the pouring rain. But at the buildings, some of the buildings are beautiful and absolutely magnificent. But that wasn't what thrilled me the most. The most was that we actually had our legislators listening to us and hearing the stories of our students. And it's so wonderful that we had the students there to tell their story. Amazing. So I got a lot out of that. And I'm maybe sometime other trustees would like to go too. Okay?
We did, we met with each
Yeah,
of our
I was hoping you'd
legislators
say that.
in Congress. We were well received by them, warmly received, and I agree. They listened carefully, and having students with us, I think, helped us make our case. It was a rainy day. I remember those halls were really, really long, so at the end of the day, I think we were all pretty much exhausted. We have a list of our legislative priorities that we're working with Congress to try to get passed. I see some of you out there with them, but if you don't have a copy of this and you would like to have a copy of the legislative priorities, please contact Maria Farrar, Board Secretary, or come by my office and we'll be happy to provide them to you. And for those of you that are politically active, and I hope that's a lot of folk, that you have connections, these are the priorities we hope that you would exercise your influence politically on the federal level because they matter to us here in higher education, particularly to Bergen. The Higher Ed Reauthorization Act is before Congress. We think there's a chance. It's been postponed now for several years of being reauthorized. We hope it gets through sometime later on this year. Lamar Alexander, Senator Alexander, is the chair of that Senate committee, and he's retiring, and so we're hoping that it'll be sort of a legacy act for him. There are a number of things in that bill that matters to us. We've already mentioned Pell, but it's not just the second chance Pell. Pell right now is for longer term programs, like a 50 semester. There are hour requirements, but today we have more and more students who are interested in short-term credentials, such as what we try to offer in continuing education. Students cannot use Pell for those kinds of programs. And in the Reauthorization Act, there is a provision to provide for short-term certificates for students to be eligible to receive Pell funds. I think that could matter here greatly for Bergen Community College. Another priority is to simplify the FAFSA application. I see some students out there. I imagine it's not a lot of fun filling out that FAFSA. And I see some parents too. You probably helped your kids at home. And you know that it can be quite a nightmare. One keystroke wrong in that application pulls you out. You have to go through a verification process that just bogs down the entire system. So we are advocating for simplifying that FAFSA process. I think that matters. Another thing that I think matters that might not first occur to you. So Bergen's graduation rate is 22%. So does that look good? Does that look bad? You know, you'd like to see it at 40 and 50 or 60%, but we're a two-year school, and students come to a two-year school for all kinds of reasons. Not all come to graduate with a two-year degree. Further, many students in our two-year programs who don't graduate intentionally make that choice because they transfer early to four-year schools. So when you think about what ought to constitute the metric, the success metric for a community college, you can't just look in a simple-minded way at a typical graduation rate. But what should we be looking at? What are the metrics that matter? One of the things that we're asking for with Congress is the creation of a national student unit record data system. A lot of words there. And it would track two things at first. Completion. So it would capture not only our students who graduate, but our students who transfer early and then graduate from Fairleigh and Ramapo and William Patterson and so forth. And importantly, it would also begin to capture data about their earnings after they graduate. Because part of what we look at in success here is not just students getting through to the end, but securing good jobs that provide a middle-class wage. So I'm hopeful for that. And then the last thing about the priorities that I want to mention is that we're all advocating to enact the DREAM Act to provide Dreamers with permanent legal status in the country. Okay, some other things here I'd like to mention, please. Sure. Okay, so Governor Murphy last week announced the Higher Education Strategic Plan. The plan was announced, I think, last week. It's online. We sent trustees a link to the state plan. Here's the thing, it applies not just to trustees, but it applies to students out there, faculty, staff, and in fact, every resident in New Jersey. The Secretary of Higher Education is creating 5 working groups that will work intensely this summer, then complete their work over the course of the next year to develop the strategies to implement the priorities in the strategic plan. There are 5 of these committees. The first is Own Ramps to College, not just the typical collegiate education path, but other alternatives. Making college affordable, student success, creating a safe and inclusive learning environment, and the 5th one is research, innovation, and talent. So if you are interested in having influence on a state level, not just here on a local level, I encourage you to consider nominating yourself. The link is online. I think Larry Levinka is going to publicize it in Bergen Daily that goes out every day. I've said that I'm interested in 3 of the areas, the Own Ramps to College, the safe and inclusive learning environment, and making college affordable. So I don't know that I'll be selected for any of those, but please put my 2 cents in, and I would encourage you to do the same thing. Now, the deadline for full consideration is this Friday at 5 p.m. I believe there's going to be another round of invitations, particularly to get students on board. But for most folk, if you're interested, please apply by this Friday. Yes?
So I just want to add to that, the 5 work, it would be great for many of you in the student and the administrative and faculty to get on it, or even at least apply just for the experience. Mostly because at a personal level, I do have conversations with the Secretary of Education. She sees Bergen as a very active community college. That's a way of showing it. One. Number 2, the big thing on the 2 big things that I've been advocating for at the state level, through personal connections. One is college affordability. I keep reminding them that college education should basically be free, and that they have to figure that out. So, as much as you can get into that college affordability, because even now with the what is it we call the grant that we got?
The community.
Yeah, the community college opportunity grant. The threshold is 45,000, which really doesn't cover a whole lot of students. So to increase that threshold is a big push that we are making towards 75,000.
Yes, the governor's plan kept the 45K, and I'm going to be talking to the trustees at another time. But I'm hoping that we advocate very strongly to the legislature to increase it beyond the 45,000.
So to increase it beyond to the median income level of the state rather than the bottom level, because the moment you increase that, you truly make a big difference in a large number of students who don't get any other aid. That is one very interesting and really important, compelling thing to work with at the state level. The other really important thing that we're going to have a student bill of rights, and that is really exciting. And I urge all of you, especially alumni trustee and any students here, to pull the document about the student bill of rights and pay close attention to it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
This past Friday, the college hosted the Governor Murphy's visit to our campus, the Lyndhurst campus, where the Hispanic Chamber of Commerce, statewide Chamber of Commerce, has an office in the Lyndhurst campus, and they were holding a special event with the governor about issues in education and so forth with the particularly relevant to the Latino community. And I got to go, got to greet the governor, welcome the group. I also got to meet with several of the consul generals from states, Latin America, South America. Some of them will be coming back this year, and I think that may lead to some profitable discussions about partnerships that Bergen might have with some. It was really a lot of fun to do. I also realized just how bad my Spanish was too, trying to follow the conversation. 2 other things here. April, we always have lots of events. April is a big month for us because it's National Community College Month. And we have a constellation of activities that we're packaging together this month as part of National Community Month. And I'm going to ask Larry Levinka, my Executive Director of PR and Community and Cultural Affairs, just to briefly indicate what some of those events are.
Thank you, Mr. President. Good evening, trustees. So yes, hashtag CC month, right? So if you're out on your social media, you can do that. Use the hashtag CC month, because that's Community College Month. in the United States of America. So what is Bergen doing to recognize it? Well, tomorrow night, we will be at the Bergen County Freeholders meeting in One Bergen County Plaza at 4:30 to acknowledge the month. The freeholders will do so. We will pick up a resolution that has been signed by the freeholders and the county executive as well. So we appreciate that. So they will be designating April as Bergen Community College Month in Bergen County. So before we talk about Community College Month, we have to get the students in, right? So one of the things that we want to do to try and get more students in and get tuition paid for is provide them better access to FAFSA workshops. So this month we have a number of FAFSA workshops to bring students on campus to give them help with filling out their FAFSA. So those go on throughout the month. One of those workshops will take place at the April 25th open house that will take place 3:30 to 7 p.m. on this campus. If you recall, this is a comprehensive open house that is campus-wide. So you'll have the opportunity, and students and their families will have the opportunity to come on campus and see all of the wonderful things that we offer here at Bergen Community College. Then after that, on April 30th, now we're going to get it in right under the gun there for Community College Month on April 30th. That's the big day. At 11:30, we were opening our STEM Student Research Center. This is going to be a terrific facility, 2 feet high STEM, what is this, 3D printer we're talking about, Louis? What else?
2 meters.
2 meters, 2 meters, not 2 feet, sorry, but it's a standing 3D printer. There's a supercomputer in there, a drone cage where students are going to be able to fly drones indoors. It's really going to be unbelievable. That's going to be at 11:30 on April 30th. We're also, for our government officials, doing our legislative lunch again this year. So we're going to have that at 12:30 immediately after the STEM opening. And then if that wasn't enough later that day, one more time, remember that 50 for 50 campaign that has been recognized, and we have that beautiful donor wall? Well, the foundation is going to unveil that at 3 p.m. on April 30th, followed by the Spring Scholarship Awards ceremony for students receiving scholarships from the foundation. So we're trying to pack a lot in. It's a busy month, and there's a lot more, but those are the highlights, so we hope to see you there. I know I will. Thank you, Mr. President.
I've been told that the STEM Education Center may be the first of its kind among community colleges in the nation. And I see Luis nodding, so must be right. We're really proud of that. And
I'll give you a little debrief in a couple of minutes.
okay, and then I think the scholarship awards, we have, maybe the students will be interested in this. I think we have a couple $100,000 to give out in scholarships. So that'll be really great. Now, the next thing is something I'm really proud that we managed to accomplish this year, but I'm not going to steal the thunder from Dr. Agnew, our Executive VP. He's going to tell you just what we accomplished just recently.
Madam Chair, President Redmond, thank you very much for having me here today. One of the things that gives me great pride is when we invest in our people. And before I even start, I'm going to do this again because I had the opportunity to recognize her in our management team meeting. But Ruth, if you'll join me, I'd love for you to join me for this presentation. Come on up here, Ruth. So many of you don't know Ruth. Ruth Ann Heck, now Ruth Ann Greenfield, has served the college for 13 years? Almost 10 years, excuse me. And has worked with our Center for Institutional Effectiveness and now serves as my executive secretary in the Office of the Executive Vice President. But most importantly, Ruth serves as our Staff Senate President. And what Ruth has single-handedly led, right, with a team, but single-handedly propelled, was what we call Staff Development Week. And for the first time at the college, we had 4 days of committed investment in our people. The topics were identified by Staff Senate under Ruth's leadership. The topics were communication and conflict resolution, time management, which was sort of a precursor to project management. Hackensack Meridian came on campus and did a program for Stop the Bleed. And Valley Hospital Community Health Division came and did the drumming circle. And so for 4 days, we had 156 of our employees engage self-motivated in professional development. On that team, and I'd like to ask those who are here to please stand as I recognize you, because it took a lot of people to pull this off. So, Dorit Beckman, Kevin Poirot said he couldn't make it, Tracy Michelli, Nino Shrek, Pam Coles, Lisa Di Gaetano, Kim Mako told me she would have a challenge getting here, Janet Doyle, Cinzia Diorio, and Chris Gillespie. And what I want to recognize in this group is that they're made up of employees from various areas of the college, coming outside of the silos, if you will, to think about how best to prepare our employees for the future. This is the leadership team of our future. When they step up, they raise their hand, and they say, I will help move the college forward. So I want to give you a debt of gratitude, and I want to extend these employees to you as leaders of our college. Thank you for your time.
We intend this not to be a one-off event, so it will continue in
Great.
the future. And the last thing is, you notice there is a resolution for some retirements, but I want to especially note a resignation, but a good one this time, of Bill Mullaney, who's been our academic VP, who has been appointed president of Corning Community College. He couldn't be here tonight because he's home with the flu, but let's give him a round of applause. Bill will be here through the end of June. Tomorrow morning we start our search for a new academic vice president. That concludes my report.
Okay, thank you. Next thing is the committees. Audit and Finance and Legal Affairs.
Audit and Finance did meet earlier last month, so we are recommending AF1 through AF11 along with Institutional 2 and 3. I'm particularly happy about Institutional 3, which is our new Google Drive usage policy. I think the college is moving forward technically, and that's very helpful for us and to our education partners out there in the community. And I'd like to wish everyone a happy Autism Awareness Day. Thank you.
Thank you. Education and Student Affairs.
ESA met last month. There were no resolutions to report. However, the ESA committee recommends I-1.
Thank you. Personnel.
Personnel met on March 19th. We're recommending resolutions 1A through C through 18. I am very pleased to point out item 17, which is the last collective bargaining agreement that we have open. So the college now has a opportunity to start all over again as we begin the process for successor agreements to these agreements. I'm also pleased to be able to recognize personnel item 1A, which is an extension to Dr. Edmonds' contract. And we have a whole host of other things that we will be discussing with the full board when we can put together a meeting for future personnel issues.
Thank you. Site facilities.
Site facilities met last month, I believe it was March 20th, and we are recommending SF1 for board approval.
You always have the shortest one.
Yeah, right now.
Strategic planning initiatives.
Strategic planning, we met last week, and last summer the board had adopted some goals for the president in line with our strategic plan. And so President Redmond, he asked the executive team to come up with goals of their own that align with our strategic plan. And so we were lucky enough this past week to hear from 3 members of the executive team, from Finance, Victor Anaya, from IT, Ron Spade, and from Facilities, Bill Corcoran. And so it was terrific to hear how it's going for them and how they're all working together, the things that they're accomplishing, the things that they want to do. So it was really wonderful to see how this college really works together to achieve the goals and do what we want to do that's best for students.
Thank you. Alumni trustee.
Good evening, everyone. I would like to take the time of my report today to invite Melvis, Xamarilis, Mark, and Danielle to have a presentation on College Leads. So College Leads is like familiar. It's like similar and based off Bergen Leads. and it's offered to Bergen students, and they're going to give more information about what the program is about and how it is helping students, a lot of students at Bergen. Okay.
Hello, everyone, and thank you so much for having us. We are very honored to be here. So, as Sabora said, we are part of College Leads, a civic engagement program that is offered here at Bergen Community College and the Bergen Volunteer Center. So this program, thank you. This program involves leadership development and seminar days where students get to visit various sites around the county and learn about the local issues. And as you can see on the slide, here are some of the sites we visited during the fall semester and as well as the spring semester. Now, during the fall semester, we studied various topics, but for the spring semester, our group of 40 students decided to focus on an issue that we were extremely passionate about, and that is the environment.
At the different sites we visited, we noticed significant sustainability efforts. Therefore, we felt motivated to look into Bergen's own sustainable actions. As some of you know, Bergen is already tackling food waste by turning it into usable compost with the rocket. Furthermore, we discovered that recycling bins require clear garbage bags in order for the contents to be properly recycled, which led us to question why Bergen is using black garbage bags for its recycling bins. With black garbage bags, custodial staff cannot distinguish recyclables from general trash. Therefore, all garbage ends up commingled, as illustrated from these pictures of our bins.
So we reached out to different departments within the college to learn how we could improve our college sustainability efforts. And believe me, reached out is definitely an understatement. We learned that buying clear bags would cost the same, if not less, than the black bags we currently buy. We also wanted to get feedback from the college community to assess the level of interest in expanding sustainability efforts at the college. During the past week, over 800 students, faculty, and staff participated in our survey and expressed concern about the current ecological impact of our college and agreed that it's important for Bergen Community College to expand its campus sustainability actions, as was stated in the survey we took.
Other colleges in our state, such as Raritan Valley and Rutgers, have already made these strides on their campuses. As Bergen students, we believe that sustainability must be made a priority on our campus. Based on our experiences and the many surveys we've collected, it is clear that our students, faculty, and staff are interested in expanding Bergen's sustainability efforts. As the Board of Trustees of the college, we ask you for your support. Thank you for your time.
Yeah, we were just wondering, does anybody have any questions regarding, yes?
How long has the College Leads program been in existence?
Yeah.
This is the fourth class.
Yep. And we also actually have the survey that we passed around campus. Yeah. We've collected a total of over 800 signatures.
Fantastic.
And counting. Thank you for your time.
Oh, I'm sorry, one other question. I thought this was a great presentation. It was very clear, very specific. You knew what the problem was, you had a solution. Bringing that solution to the end point, have you identified the path to have the college switch over to clear bags? Exactly who makes the decision and who you need to talk to?
Well, essentially, when we did our reaching out, we got in contact with Buildings and Grounds and gathered some numbers together, and that's how we came to the fact that it could be equal, if not less, than the current amount that we pay for the bags. Wouldn't require any more space. So, for example, if you had 4 black bags, obviously we have a little more than 4 black bags, but if you take out 2 of those and replace them with clear bags, you don't really need any more space. And I'm identifying that because, sorry, you get the point.
That's great.
Appreciate it. Any more questions for you guys?
Yes.
I would like I'm just going to add something, so you can ask the
No,
question.
I just want, the survey, was it taken across all the campuses?
Yes.
Okay.
So basically, all of our college league members, we all got our sheets, like each of us got a certain amount and just went around as many classrooms we went to. We entered classrooms, we went to the cafeterias, to faculty members, and so we just try to get as many signatures as we can, try to communicate our concern for sustainability to the students, and it actually helped to spark these conversations with everybody, and then kind of have this discussion about caring about these kinds of issues.
Thank you. But you did that on all the campuses?
It was just this campus.
Just this campus? Any particular reason why not the other campuses, or just time?
Because the people involved in college youth are from the Franklin campus.
Okay.
But we understand that the problem is also happening at other campuses. The Netherlands, Pakistan as well. Yeah, I mean, it definitely can be.
Okay.
Other locations.
Thank you.
So I'll ask if Bill Corcoran, our VP for Facilities Operations and Public Safety, to take a special interest in your report, and I imagine he'll be following up with you. Thank you.
Thank you so much again.
I would also like to add that even though this college leads is not part of the class where students would have to maybe get an extra credit, they're doing it like voluntarily, and they're helping and they're giving out in the community. So they deserve another recognition.
They
So
certainly
thank
do.
you. Also, today I would like to take time to recognize one of the busiest offices that Bergen has. That would be the Office of Student Life. And this weekend, there is one leadership weekend, it's called. That is like every year, it's a week where students a weekend where students, some students from Bergen attend, they go a retreat, and they get information about leadership, information about Bergen, information about how to get more involved at Bergen, and not only that, but build up their leadership style, get to know more about themselves, and help out the community. So today we have Amanda here, and she's going to have a short presentation on the Leadership Weekend.
Hello, everyone. My name is Amanda Fernandez, and I'm speaking on behalf of the Office of Student Life and Conduct. I would first like to express my thanks for allowing me to speak today regarding my experience at this year's Leadership Weekend and having the opportunity to attend. My journey at Bergen began last spring semester, and my mindset of school was typical of most students. All I did or wanted to do was go to class and return home, until I came across LASA. When I became part of the Latin American Student Association, one of the first things I was told by the members and the e-board was how amazing Leadership Weekend was. I had no idea what the weekend entailed, but they made it clear to me that this weekend is what brought them together and changed the trajectory of their lives. So when it came time for me to attend, I was excited for what was to come and had extremely high expectations for what my peers had told me. On Friday, I was nervous because not only was I going to experience Leadership Weekend for the first time, but I was asked to become a facilitator. At first, I was apprehensive because I had never attended Leadership Weekend myself, but was excited to give my peers the same experience I was searching for. I was extremely grateful not only to experience the weekend firsthand, but to see how it was changing the people around me. A huge theme during the weekend was recognizing the hero's journey. Every hero goes through 3 stages: separation, where they leave their normal place or situation; initiation, where they face trials and obstacles; and the return, where the hero returns back to their normal place. The details of everyone's story is different, but the essence of what happens is the same. In order to overcome our obstacles, we must find our bliss, and fear is what keeps us from doing so. A quote from Professor Calderon that sums up what I got from this weekend is, "Be who you are, not who you want to be." Being a good leader starts by recognizing your personal journey and using what you've learned from successes and mistakes to help others on theirs. Thank you.
Excuse me.
That concludes my report for today. So those were the two presentations that I wanted the board to see what's happening with students at Bergen.
Well, we love it.
Thank you very much.
We really enjoy it. I'm really happy about environment. My house, at my house, they can't throw anything out unless I inspect it. If it's a container that's dirty, it's got to be cleaned. If it's glassware, it's got to be cleaned. So I am very, very proud of all of you. I want my grandchildren to live in a good, clean society. That's what. Let's see. Oh, chairperson. I think I just did it. Okay. This was very, very moving. Thank you. What's next?
Unfinished business.
Unfinished business, right.
There's an item there, board retreat, but let me deal with it under new business, which I think is the next item, so.
Oh, it's ready?
Should I just move to it?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, so the past 2 years, we've had a board retreat. First one was sort of a homemade board retreat that we did on a shoestring when I first was appointed president in 2017. Last year, we did a more detailed one. We had it professionally facilitated by ACCT. I'm recommending to the trustees that, again, you have a board retreat. I think it's important to do that annually. I'd like to see it as a practice here for our board. And I think it's time to start planning for a summer retreat, ideally in June of this year. So I wanted to bring it up now to get your sentiments about it and take the first steps toward having one, hopefully.
Okay. I think this year I'm going to make the executive committee of the board work. So all suggestions will come to the executive offices, and we will figure out how we're going to put them all together. And I've already wrote down Chatal's diversity thing. So it's right in there.
So let's perhaps have a report back at the next board meeting, a recommendation for item of board. Okay, good.
Okay, is that the end of new? Anybody else, new business? New business, anybody? Nobody? Gee, it's getting still in here. Open to the public. May I please have a motion to open to the public?
Motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, is there anyone wishing to address the board?
Good afternoon, members of the board. Luis Abreu, Director of the STEM program at Bergen Community College. So as my dear friend Larry Levenka mentioned, a big day for us. April 30th, we'll be grand opening the space, the STEM Research Center. As Dr. Redmond mentioned, I've been doing research within my very little spare time, and I haven't been able to come across anything of its kind. There are 2 more research centers, STEM research centers on community college, but nothing close to what we have. It's very discipline-oriented. Ours is the first in the nation to be multidiscipline and cover all the STEM disciplines. So this will be the first true STEM research center for a community college in the entire nation. So I'm very proud of that. So once again, April 30th, it's a Tuesday, 11:30. Larry's team and I are preparing an invitation that will be sent out soon. Another thing that I wanted to mention to you guys, Friday, March 22nd, we sent roughly about 45 students to IBM headquarters in Poughkeepsie, New York, along with 3 faculty members. This is something that we do every semester. This is a way for us to trigger interest in some of the students that are interested in computer science. There's a big partnership and a big move from IBM to bring mainframe back. Those of you who are familiar with computer science, you know, mainframe is not dead. It's actually very active, and there's a big push from IBM. We've been lucky enough to establish a very strong partnership with IBM. In fact, they are one of the sponsors of the next event that we have coming up in May. May 14, which is the STEM C-Square Research Summit. I believe Maria was able to share some of the invitation and as well as some of the coding for you guys to sign up and attend the event. But again, going back to this visit, roughly 45 students along with 3 faculty members. It's a whole day event. They go to Poughkeepsie, they get a tour along with some training and workshop informational sessions. They come back with, we actually ask them for some feedback, and you have to see this feedback. It's so rewarding. Some of the students were so interested and just stating that this was probably one of the best opportunities they ever had at this level. So I can share some pictures if you guys want to see what we did, but that's just to show you that we're not only doing things in-house, we're actually taking the show on the road. And last but not least, I want to bring to your attention May 14. Once again, that's our big event. It's the STEM C Square Research Summit. It's going to take place on a Tuesday. It's actually the main headquarters is right here in Tech 128. We have a registration system that everyone is invited to participate. We have a code system as well for free admission to all the Bergen Community College community. I'll be more than happy to share that as well. But we hope to see at least between 20 to 25 different institutions attending the event. We have a poster competition at first. Usually between 70 to 75 posters are being showcased. It is a competition after all. We have high schools, we have community college and four-year institutions from across the tri-state area. So hopefully I get to see you all there. Thank you.
Very good. Anyone else wish to speak? If there is no one else, may I have a motion to close the public meeting? Second. All in favor? Aye. Let's see where we go next. Okay, approval of the minutes. May I please have a motion to accept the March 5th, 2019 meeting minutes?
Motion.
Second. Take a roll call.
Yes, Chair. Joseph A. Barretto?
Yes.
Dorothy Blakesley?
Yes.
Gerard Carroll?
Yes.
Patrick Fletcher?
Yes.
Mark Longo?
Yes.
Carol Otis?
Yes.
Irene Ujo?
Yes.
Shatal Ranjan?
Yes.
Joseph Zara is absent. Sabora Pekka?
Yes.
The motion's passed. The next one, we did that. Consent agenda. Items for approval for Tuesday, April 2nd of 2019. May I please have a motion to approve the following consent agenda items? AF1 to AF11. No resolutions for the ESA, but they are recommending I1, I2. Oh no, I'm just writing down on I3. Personnel would be 1A, B, C, 2, 3A, B, 4 to 18. Site and facilities, 1. May I have a motion?
Motion.
Second. Roll call.
Yes. Joseph A. Barretto?
Yes.
Dorothy Blakesley?
Yes.
Gerard Carroll?
Yes.
Patrick Fletcher?
Yes.
Mark Longo?
Want to recuse myself on AF1? Yes, on everything else.
Thank you. Carol Otis?
Yes.
Irene Ujo?
Yes.
Shatal Ranjan?
Yes.
Joseph Zara is absent. Sabora Pekka?
Yes.
Thank you.
Motion passed. Executive session? There will be no executive session. Maria, please read, well, we know how that is, so we're not doing it. Motion to adjourn. Oh, it's so strange. Motion to adjourn. Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? The April 2nd, 2019 meeting of the Board of Trustees is now adjourned.